I knew it. I'd rather be with a college girl than an aunt, lol. Right, lol. They're young and beautiful. I found out that my husband was having an affair, but I had no idea that he had colluded with the third daughter and was planning to divorce me. They were talking in the living room and I couldn't stand the quicksand. That's what you meant. They looked surprised for a moment, but then they looked at each other and started grinning and laughing. Eavesdropping is in poor taste. Do you have something to say? Of course not. You've been having an affair. Then they both sighed. You are no longer of any use to us. Thank you for raising our daughters this far. What do you mean? I'm going to follow Daddy. Mom, get a quick divorce. I thought I couldn't live with them if they said this much. All right. I'll get a divorce. And 2 years later, I would meet my husband again. What? I was surprised, and at the same time I started to laugh. My name is Jolene and I am a 45-year-old housewife. My husband Mikey and I have been married for 20 years. My husband and I met at the same time when we started working together after graduating from college. At first we were not that interested in each other, but as we worked together, we gradually became aware of each other as someone special. It was in the spring of our 3rd year at the company that things changed for us. Why don't we go out? What? Go out with you? I think we'll work it out. At that time, I had already fallen in love with him. So I was happy that my husband confessed his feelings to me, but I was a little bit reluctant to go out with him in the company. I'd like to go out with you too, but I don't want everyone else to find out. I don't think they're the kind of people who would change their attitudes if they found out we were dating. I know that, but... Okay. Then we'll keep it a secret from everyone for a while. We started dating. From then on, we would have a good time while being careful not to let people around us find out. Then, 2 years after we started dating. Let's get married. It was when we were both working overtime. We had finished our work and were about to go home. Here! I said. I'm sorry, I just wanted to say something as soon as possible. I remember thinking how cute my husband was for saying such a thing. Of course, my reply to his proposal was yes. Thus our new life would begin. Furthermore, after consulting with my husband, I became a full-time housewife. Everyone in the company congratulated me and I couldn't believe how happy I was. Soon after, I became pregnant and gave birth to our first daughter, Miley. We ended up having 3 daughters. Now that Miley is getting older, I think it's time for us to move. How do you feel about that? Sounds good. Actually, I already have a candidate in mind. What? Really? Then we moved to a new place and had a good life. I found myself at the age of 44. My oldest daughter, Miley, and my second daughter, Kate, had gone off to college and were living on their own. My third daughter, Miranda, was also in high school. Didn't I tell you not to leave your clothes where you took them off? Yes. Miranda responds, but doesn't take her eyes off her phone and doesn't act immediately. This was such an everyday occurrence that I thought she was finally rebellious at her age. For some reason, she seemed to be very attached to my husband, and there was a huge difference in how she responded to me. My husband loved her, too, because she was the youngest, but I still felt that this had increased since she started high school. Aren't you spoiling Miranda a little too much lately? Really? Because the last time I saw you, you were giving her an allowance. That's more than enough for a high school student. I advised my husband that she will have a hard time when she grows up if she is spoiled like this, but he just says it's okay and won't take it seriously. You worry too much. You can leave it to her autonomy. But then her husband sighs, as if to say it's too much trouble. I'm tired from work too. Don't make me tired any more than I already am. But it's important. You're a pain in the ass. My husband raised his voice at me, and I was so embarrassed that I couldn't say anything. Nothing was resolved, and my husband went to the bedroom early. Then Miranda came into the living room. By the look on her face, she must have heard our conversation earlier. Mom, don't say unnecessary things to Dad. It would be terrible if I lost my allowance. You heard me. I'm not saying you can't have an allowance. I'm just talking about the amount. It's the same either way! ! My husband was giving her $300. And if she asks for more, he gives her more. What are you spending that much on? Why should I tell you that? It doesn't matter what it is. Because you're buying brand name bags and stuff, aren't you? It doesn't matter, it's my money. If you keep talking like that, my dad is going to throw you out. Even though she was my daughter, I couldn't stand her words. How dare you talk to your mother like that! You should be careful too, shouldn't you? Miranda said nothing more and went back to her room just like my husband. I never thought my daughter would say something like that to me. At the time, I thought she was just being sarcastic, but I had no idea that it would come true. Here's the thing. What do you think? When we were there, Miranda wasn't like that. Did you notice anything else unusual? I decided to talk to Miley once in an attempt to clear up my bothered feelings. Well, the other day she said something that bothered me. What did she say? She said something about me getting dumped by your dad if I don't do something about it. I see. Miley looked a little thoughtful. I was also wondering why she said that, but I thought maybe I shouldn't overthink it. Then Miley warned me in a serious tone. That might be okay for now, but you might want to be careful. What? What do you mean? Oh, no. Call me if you need anything else. Yeah. After hanging up the phone, I felt extra bothered by Miley's words, but I soon forgot about it because I had no answer now. Then the change came when Miranda was on summer vacation. I'll be a little late today. I don't want to eat. Okay. That day, not only my husband but also Miranda did not come home. When I looked at the clock, it was already past 23:00. I'm home. When I went to the front door to greet my husband, I found Miranda there as well. Was Miranda with you? No. We finished earlier than planned and happened to run into each other on our way home. So we decided to go out for dinner. I felt alienated by the fact that they had eaten out alone together without any notice. Even if I had, until this late in the day. I felt my trust in the two of them waning. Well, that's great, isn't it? Let's go again. Dad. Oh, yeah. They seemed to be enjoying themselves, but I could feel the opposite emotions taking over. But this was just the beginning. From then on, my husband and Miranda would sometimes dine without telling me. During this time, I would prepare dinner just in case, but it would go to waste. So I asked my husband about it. I see you and Miranda have been going out a lot lately. Oh. Maybe it's because we go home together. I see her a lot. So are you guys going straight to dinner? She says she's hungry. Even I'm at home. My husband seems to only think about Miranda. Then they came home together as usual, and I did not miss the change in my husband. I smelled a perfume on him that I usually don't. Of course, it wasn't Miranda's perfume. Was he meeting someone? But if Miranda is there, does that mean it was the three of them? All sorts of things ran through my mind. I decided to have a detective look into it to clear my suspicions. I told myself that if anything happened, I would have to be prepared for it. 2 weeks later, I heard the report from the detective and my bad premonition came true. Hey, I need you to look at this. I immediately checked with Mikey to see what was really going on. I show him a picture of him and a young woman. When did you? Last time you came home, I could smell a perfume. So I got curious and had it investigated. This is different. She's just an acquaintance. Really? Then, deciding he couldn't get away with it, he admitted that he was having an affair. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. And you guys met Miranda too, didn't you? I confront him with another picture. They were close in age. Besides, the woman wanted to meet her. By the way, how old is this woman? She's a 21-year-old college student. I was speechless. How could a middle-aged man of a good age have an affair with a college student? Where did you meet her? At a bar I happened to walk into. I didn't want to hear any more. You know what will happen if I do it again, right? Yeah. Of course I do. Then my husband started coming home earlier and didn't go out with Miranda anymore. I had hoped that he would continue to be remorseful. But then something happened that made me realize how naive I was. One day, about 2 months later, I was feeling ill and had to take an early day off. I was thirsty and was about to head for the kitchen when I heard Mikey and Miranda talking. I quickly listened in. I knew I'd rather be with a college girl than an aunt, lol. Right, lol. They're young and beautiful. Then there's only one thing I'd do, lol. That's right. Just get her divorced. I had previously discovered my husband's infidelity by pursuing him, but I had no idea that he had colluded with Miranda and even plotted to divorce me. I had thought he was remorseful. I couldn't stand the two of them talking in the living room. That's how it was. I opened the door of the living room vigorously. What do you mean? Exclamation question mark. They looked surprised for a moment, but then they looked at each other and started grinning and laughing. Eavesdropping is in poor taste. You got something you want to say? Of course not. You had an affair, and in the end you're not sorry. Then they both sighed. You're of no use to me. Thank you for raising our daughters this far. What do you mean? I'm going with you, Dad. You get a quick divorce. I knew I couldn't live with him if he said this much. Okay, I'm divorcing you. I'll get a divorce. My mind was made up. If anything happened to me next, I was going to divorce him. Staying here would only wear me down. Nothing could be more sad. Did you hear that? Let's get out of this house already. LOL. Right. Then I'll call that woman. If you divorce me, I'll feel sorry for you, so don't worry, I'll pay the alimony to you. Leave that old lady alone. Let's get going. Okay. Don't be in such a rush. And they left the house happily. Left alone in the house, I was unexpectedly calm. In fact, the thought of not having to endure any more made me burst into laughter. Besides, my physical condition, which had not been excellent, had recovered before I knew it. I call Miley. Hello? Miley? I'm getting a divorce. What? Really? Really? I'm tired of it. What about Miranda? She ended up going with her dad. Besides, they've already moved out of the house. Huh, what are those two really doing? And she is a college girl, right? Yeah, I guess so. I don't think it's going to end well for them. I agree. After this, Miley told Kate about the story. Kate, who had no idea what was going on, was surprised, but she seemed to be convinced. I started working part-time. My husband and Miranda seemed to have come to the house and moved their belongings out while I was working. When I returned home, their belongings were clean and gone. Then, a week later, Mikey contacted me. I sent the divorce papers over there yesterday, so please get them out. Okay. Don't forget to turn them in. I know you don't have to tell me. Thus, I was divorced and living alone. Sometimes I am glad that Miley and Kate, who were worried about me, come to check on me. And when 2 years had passed since I got used to such a life, I would meet Mikey again. I'm coming over there today. I'm on my way home from work, so I'll be waiting for you. I have such a conversation with Miley and head for home. Then I see someone at the front door. As I approached the door, I saw that it was Mikey, who had turned into a shabby-looking man. What are you doing in a place like that? I called out to him, and he immediately turned to me and asked for help. I'm in trouble. Please, help me. I honestly wasn't sure what to do, but I decided to at least listen to him, for the last time after being together for over 20 years. Besides, I had no idea how he was living since the divorce, so I was curious. Well, it's not very neighborly in there, so why don't you come inside? Sorry. As we sat on the couch facing each other, I was once again struck by how awful he looked. His hair was shaggy and the clothes he was wearing were shabby. So? What's the story? Actually, she ran away from me. What? For a moment, I couldn't understand the meaning of the words. That's why she ran away from me. That college girl? Yeah. She took my money and everything. Hearing those words, I was not surprised. I had a feeling it was going to happen. I just wondered how Miranda was doing. I understand that, but how is Miranda doing? I think she's at home right now. Well, I found myself a little relieved to hear those words. She had said some unkind words to me, but she is still one of my most precious daughters. So I take it that you got out of control and came here to get help from me? Yeah. It's tough for us to make a living right now. And I am faced with a new question. Even if the money had been stolen, he would still be working. And he is in a good position. Where's your job? Fired. Fired? Why exclamation question mark? I had the money as the woman requested, but it wasn't enough. So I took the company's money. You embezzled? He nodded silently. No matter how much it costs, I think it would be a fool's errand to go that far. If I did that, it would be a given that I would be fired. I was so impossible that I tried hard to resist laughing uncontrollably. You're the only one I can count on. Saying that, he lowers his head. It was then that Miley arrived. Miley came in. What? Dad exclamation question mark, why are you here? It's for various reasons. You should sit down too. She could not hide her surprise. That's probably true. She was looking at her father, who had left her mother behind. At first, I explained to her the purpose of his visit. Exclamation question mark, that's too convenient. She seemed to have lost patience with his behavior. Of course I understand what she means. I'm absolutely against helping him. I'll take care of that. More importantly, what's wrong with Miranda? Like I said before, she's at home. I didn't miss the fact that he reacted differently than he had earlier. Maybe he was scared of what Miley had just done to him. You're hiding something, aren't you? No. It's just. If I'm going to help you, you're going to have to tell me exactly what it is. Hey Mom exclamation question mark. Miley calms me down. I have Miranda working for me. What kind of work is that? She's got this thing where she goes on dates with old guys. Exclamation question mark, is that something that she initiated? I told her I had a quick way to make some money. I was going to calm down a little, but that was no longer necessary. I have no obligation to help you. It's too embarrassing to be married to someone who lets their own daughter do that to them. Wait. Listen to me. You don't have to. If you don't leave, I can call the police, okay? He is trying to run away, perhaps out of fear. Oh, and I just remembered. You haven't paid your alimony yet, have you? That's not possible for me right now. That's none of my business. If you're not willing to pay, I can talk to a lawyer. Oh no. He sounds pathetic. He then left in despair. If what he said earlier is true, we need to help Miranda. I agree. We then asked Miley to contact Miranda and we went to her. When we saw Miranda in front of us, we were speechless, because she looked even worse than we had imagined. We immediately took her into custody and returned to the house. I'm so sorry. She apologized and looked her age. Maybe she had simply been acting like an adult until now. Mikey then told me that he has been working from morning till night to pay for the damages he caused to the company and his alimony to me. Unaccustomed hard work must be hard on a middle-aged man. But I have no sympathy for him at all. He has done that much. And I later learned that his cheating partner has been sued by other victims for repeating the same trick. She may possibly be arrested for fraud. Well, it's all his own fault. Are you sure I can stay here? Of course, It's just that if something like what happened before. No, I would never do that. From then on, I made the choice to live with Miranda again. It seems that Miley and her family are willing to help. Miranda, who has been through a lot, will not go astray anymore. From now on, I will watch over her. What did you think of this story? Please subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.